Hello everyone. In today's cryptid profile I'll be doing is one of the famous and cultural icon in pop culture of cryptids, and I present to you Bigfoot. The Bigfoot is a large, hairy mythical creature said to inhabit forests in North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot is featured in both American and Canadian folklore, and since the mid 20th century has become an cultural icon. Enthusiasts of Bigfoot, such as those of pseudoscience of cryptozoology, have offered various forms of dubious evidence to support Bigfoot's existence, including claims of sightings as well as supposed photographs, video, and audio recordings, hair samples, and casts of large footprints. However, now, the Bigfoot is often described as a large, muscular, bipedal, human or ape-like creature covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair. The the anecdotal descriptions estimate the height of roughly 6 to 9 feet, 1.8 to 2.7 meters, with some descriptions having the creature standing as tall as 10 to 15 feet, 3.0 to 4.6 meters. Some alleged observation described Bigfoot as more human than ape, particularly in regarded to the face. In 1971, multiple people in the Dallas in Oregon filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted the creature in the scope of his rifle, but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Common descriptions include broad shoulders, no visible neck, and long arms, with many skeptics attribute to the misidentification of a bear standing upright. Some alleged nighttime sightings have stated that the creature's eyes glow yellow or red. However, eye shine is not present in humans or any other known great apes because humans do not have eye shine because they lack the tabellatusum, a reflective layer in the eye that many animals use to see in low light. When a camera flash hints of human eyes, the red eye effect occurs because the light reflects off the blood vessels in the back of the retina, not a special reflective layer. The same goes for other apes like gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, because they don't have eye shine. Like humans, we don't have them. And so proposed explanation for observable eyes shine off the ground in the forest include owls, raccoons, or opossums perched in foliage. Michael, the owner of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum, claims to the smell a smelled Bigfoot, stating, "Imagine a skunk that had rolled over a dead animals and had a hung around the garbage pit." The enormous Bigfoot, for which the creature is named, are claimed to have a large 24 inches or 610 millimeter long and 8 inches 200 millimeter wide. Some footprints cast have been contained the claw marks, making it likely they came from a known animal such as bears, which have 5 toes and claws. Ecologist Robert argues that most cultures have accounts of human like giants in their folk history, expressing a need for some larger than life creature. Each language had its name for the creature featured in the local vision of such legends. Many names mean something like wild man or hairy man, although other names describe a common action that it's said to perform, such as eating clams or shaking trees. European folklore traditionally had many instances of a wild man of the woods or wild people, often described as naked creature covered in hair with only the face, feet, and hands, and in some cases the knees, elbows, or the pecs remaining bare. These European wild people ranged from human hermits to human like monsters. Upon migrating to North America, myths of the wild people persisted, with documented sightings of wild people reported in what is now New York State and Pennsylvania. Many of the indigenous culture across North American continent included tales of mysterious hair-covered creatures living in forests. And according to the anthropologist David, these legends existed long before contemporary reports of the creature described as Bigfoot. These stories differed in their details regionally and between families in the same community and are particularly prevalent in the Pacific Northwest. On the Toll River Indian Reservation, petrographs created a tribe of at the site called Painted Rock are alleged by Kathy, the author of the 2008 book Giants, Cannibals, Monsters, Bigfoot, and Native Culture, to depict a group of Bigfoot called the Family. The large glass is called Hairy Man. They are estimated to be estimated to be 10,000 years old. According to the Tulare County Board of Education in 1975, Bigfoot the hairy man was a creature that was like a giant, that's like a great big giant with long, shaggy hair. His long, shaggy hair made him look like a big animal. He was good in a way because he ate the animals that might harm people, and the Yokonot's people parents warned their children not to venture near the river at night or they might encounter the creature. 16th century Spanish explorers and Mexican settlers told tales of the, I'm not even trying to pronounce it, or dark watchers, large creatures alleged to stalk their camps at night. In the region that is now Mississippi, a priest was living with Natchez in 1721 and reported stories of a hairy creature in the forest known to scream loudly and steal livestock. In 1958, Jerry, a bulldozer operator for a logging company in Humboldt County in California, discovered a large set of 16 inches, 410 millimeter human-like footprints sunk deep into the mud in the Six Rivers National Forests. Upon informing his coworkers, many claimed to have seen similar tracks on previous job sites, as well as telling of the odd incidents, such as an oil drum weighing 450 pounds, having been moved without explanation, because a human trying to carry that is impossible. But something big is capable of carrying a 450-pound oil drum. Whatever it is, we will never know. The logging company men soon began using the word Bigfoot to describe the apparent culprit. Crew and the other initially believed someone was playing a prank on them. After observing more of these massive footprints, he contacted the reporter Andrew of the Humboldt Times newspaper. Andrew interviewed the lumber workers and wrote the article about the mysterious footprints, introducing the name Bigfoot in relation to the tracks and local tales of large hairy men. A plaster cast was made of the footprints, and the crew appeared holding one of the casts on the front page of the newspaper on October 6, 1958. The story spread rapidly as Andrew began to receive correspondence from major media outlets, including New York Times and Los Angeles Times. As a result, the term Bigfoot became widespread and in reference to the apparent large unknown creature leaving massive footprints in Northern California. In 2010, the family of Jerry Crew's deceased co-worker Ray revealed the collection of large covered carved wooden feet stored in the basement. They stated that Wallace had been secretly making footprints and was responsible for the tracks discovered by the crew at that time. Wallace was inspired by the another hoaxer, Rand, who revealed information about the hoaxes in 1982 and in 1930s in Toledo, Washington. Mullins and a group of other foresters carved pairs of large feet made of wood and used them to create footprints in the mud to scare huckleberry pickers in the Garfield Pinchot National Forest. The group would have also claimed they would be responsible for hoaxing the alleged Ape Canyon incident in 1924. Mullins and the group of foresters began referring to themselves as the St. Helens ape and would later have cave depicted to them. Wallace, also from Toledo, knew Mullins and stated that collaborated with him to obtain a pair of large wooden feet and subsequently used them to create footprints on the 1958 construction site as a means to scare away potential thieves. On October 20th, 1967, Bigfoot enthusiast Roger, sorry if I mispronounced the name, Roger Patterson and his partner Robert Bob Gremlin were filming a Bigfoot docudrama in an area called Bluff Creek in Northern California. The pair claimed to have came upon a Bigfoot and filmed the encounter. The 59.5-second long video, dubbed the Patterson Gremlin film, or PGF for short, has become an iconic in popular culture and Bigfoot-related history and lore. The PGF continues to highly synchronize, analyze, and database and debated subject. Academic experts from related fields have typically judged the film as providing no supportive data of any scientific value, with perhaps the most common proposed explanation being that it was a hoax. So, whatever the Bigfoot is, it could be a misidentified animal or an undescribed or not discovered animal. Various explanations have suggested for sightings and to offer conjectured on what existing animal has been misidentified and supposed sightings of Bigfoot. Scientists typically attribute sightings to hoaxes or misidentification of known animals and their tracks, particularly black bears. The first one is a black bear. Scientists theorize that the mistaken identification of an American black bear as Bigfoot are likely explanation for most reported sightings, particularly when observers viewed the subject from afar, are in dense foliage or the poor lighting conditions. Additionally, Black bears have been observed, recorded, walking upright, often as a result of an injury. While upright adult black bears stood roughly about 5.5 to 7 feet, 1.5 to 2.1 meters, and grizzly bears roughly stand up to 8 to 9 feet, 2.4 to 2.7 meters. According to data, scientists, more people reported seeing Bigfoot in the areas with documented black bear populations. It has been concluded if Bigfoot is there, it may have been, it may be many bears. Because Foxon acknowledges the alleged Bigfoot sightings have been reported in the area, with minimal or no known black bear populations. She states that although this may be interpreted as evidence for the existence of unknown hominid in North America, it also explains by misidentification of other animals, including humans, among other possibilities. The second one is an escape ape, meaning that if that person has an exotic pet, like a chimpanzee, that somehow escaped, some have proposed that the Bigfoot sightings may simply be people observing and misidentifying known great apes, such as chimpanzees, gorillas, or orangutans, that have escaped from captivity, such as zoos, circuses, and exotic pets, belonging to private owners. This explanation is often proposed in relation to the skunk ape, as some scientists argue the humid subtropical climate of the southern east United States could potentially support a population of escape apes. If that were the case, why aren't there any of the three ever been recorded or in sorry or in a camera trap that has recorded animals? Why haven't we seen them or been spotted or see them? Like any animal, they would stay away from humans and be very cautious and stay hidden as not to be spotted. But if it trespasses in its territory, we would have seen an ape or anything, because we would have seen it. And the third possibility is humans. Humans have been mistaken for Bigfoot, with some incidents leading to injuries. In 2013, a 21-year-old man in Oklahoma was arrested after he told the law enforcement he accidentally shot his friend in the back while their group was allegedly hunting for Bigfoot. In 2007, a shamanist wearing clothing of made animal furs was vagabonding in North Carolina forest when local reports of alleged Bigfoot sighting flooded in. The Greenville Police Department issued a public notice not to shoot Bigfoot for fear of mistaking injury or killing someone in a fursuit. In 2018, a person was shot multiple times by a hunter near Helena, Montana, who claimed he mistook him for Bigfoot. Additionally, some have attributed to feral humans or hermits. Just for all of you who do not know what the word of term hermit means, the term hermit is a person living in solitude as a religious discipline. So, hermits living in the wilderness as being another explanation for alleged Bigfoot sightings. One story, the wild man of the Nevada tells a wild ape man who roamed the wilderness of the eastern Texas in the mid-19th century, stealing food and goods from residents. A search party allegedly captured and escaped. I'm sorry for the pause, because it's kind of hard for me to say it because of, this might offend people, and I might get angry comments if I say it. So, here I go. Alright. It tells the story of the wild ape man who roamed the wilderness of the eastern Texas in the mid-19th century, stealing food and goods from residents. A search party allegedly captured and escaped African slave attribute to the story. During the 1980s, several psychological damage and American Vietnam veterans were stated by the state of Washington's Veterans Affairs Director Randy Fisher to have been living in the remote wooded areas of the state. And there is another one, pareidolia. For those who don't know what pareidolia is, it is a tendency for perception of imposed and meaningful interpretation of numerous stimulus, usually visual, of the one detects in an object pattern or meaning where there is none. May have explained Bigfoot sightings, specifically the tendency to observe human-like faces and figures within the natural environment. Photos and videos of poor quality alleged to depict Bigfoots are often attributed to the phenomena and commonly referred to as the blob squatch. And the fifth, misidentified vocalization. The majority of mainstream scientists maintain that sources of sound often attributed to the Bigfoot are either hoaxes or anthropomorphization, or likely misidentified and produced by animals such as owl, wolf, coyote, and fox. Both Bigfoot believers and non-believers agree that many reported sightings are hoaxes. But the sixth one could be Gigantopithecus, which is very unlikely because Grover and Jeffrey both believed that Bigfoot could be a relic population of an extinct Southeast Asian ape species, Gigantopithecus blacki. According to Jeffrey G. Blacki, may have followed the many other species out of animals that migrated across the Bering Land Bridge to North America to the Americas to date. But there is one problem. There are no Gigantopithecus fossils found in the Americas. None. In Asia, the only recovered remains of the Gigantopithecus fossils have been mandibles and teeth, leaving uncertainties of Gigantopithecus blacki locomotion. Grover has argued that Gigantopithecus could have been bipedal based on his extrapolation from shape of its mandible. However, the relevant part of the mandible is not present in any fossils. So Gigantopithecus is quadrupedal, as its enormous mass would have made it difficult to adapt to bipedal gait like humans. Or the primatologist John and anthropologist Gordon have suggested the species of Paranthropus, a possible candidate for Bigfoot identity, such as Paranthropus, sorry mispronouncing, Paranthropus robustus, with its gorilla-like crest, skull, and bipedal gait. Despite the fact the fossils are only found in Africa, Michael of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum presented a comparison between human Gigantopithecus and Meganthropus skulls. In episode 131 and 132 of Bigfoot Discovery Museum show, Bigfoot enthusiasts that think that Bigfoot may have been a missing link between apes and humans have promoted the idea that Bigfoot is a descendant of Gigantopithecus blacki, but that it diverged from orangutans around 12 million years ago and is not related to humans. But the last and final suggestion, that is, some suggest that the Neanderthals, Homo erectus or Homo heidelbergensis, sorry for mispronouncing it again, to be the creature, but like all other great apes, no remains have been found in Americas. So, either misidentified animal like bears, or a wild or feral human, an escaped exotic pet from a zoo or circus, or an extinct hominid. Whatever it is, we'll never know. Paleontologist and author Darren Nanash states in a 2016 article for Scientific American that if a Bigfoot existed, an abundance of evidence would also exist that cannot be found anywhere today, making the existence of such a creature exceedingly unlikely. Because Duran summarize the evidence for Bigfoot that would exist if a creature itself existed. Because in his words, if a Bigfoot existed, so would consist of reports of uniform vocalization throughout North America as can be identified for any existing large animal in the region, rather than the scatter the scattered and widely varied Bigfoot sounds haphazardly reported. And two, if a Bigfoot existed, so would many tracks that would be easy for experts to find, as they easily find tracks from other rare megafauna in North America, rather than complete lack of such tracks alongside tracks that experts agreed were fraudulent. fraudulent. And third and finally, if a Bigfoot existed, an abundance of Bigfoot DNA would already have been found, again, as it has been found similar animals instead of a current state affairs, where there is no confirmed DNA for such a creature whatsoever. And that's it for this video for Bigfoot. Like and subscribe, and see you later, guys.